This is College Football Weekly with Brian Scheibel on the SportsMap Radio Network. From the SportsMap Radio studios, here's Brian Scheibel.
Hey, welcome back to the show. It's a little Ants Marching. That's the encore from last night's Dave Matthews performance at the Bud Light Super Bowl Music Fest. Always a highlight. Try to attend that festival every year at the Super Bowl. And another big one that I can never miss is the Taste of the NFL. We had Chef Andrew Zimmern on last segment, and coming up a little bit later today is Chateau Lux in Phoenix, Taste of the NFL. Highly encourage you to visit tasteoftheenfl.com. There's some tickets available, as well as just to kind of see everything that's going on in Taste of the NFL's support of GENYOUth and trying to bring an end to student hunger and in the classroom. Certainly, something that's very important to all the chefs involved, Chef Andrew Zimmern, Tim Love, Carla Hall, and others as well. So we have a chance to catch up yesterday with Maureen Bausch and Anne-Marie Krautheim from GENYOUth and Taste the NFL. And here's how that conversation went.
GENYOUth is a national nonprofit. Our mission is to create healthier school communities, and we were actually formed just over a decade ago through a partnership between America's Dairy Farmers and the National Football League. So 3 years ago, GENYOUth became the beneficiary of the Taste of the NFL. As you mentioned, it's been going on for decades. This is our third year. So what that means is that all the proceeds that are raised at the event come back to GENYOUth, and then we give them as grants to schools across the country in all 32 NFL club markets to help end student hunger. So our grants go to school nutrition programs that over 30 million students rely on daily for a significant portion of their daily nutrition, and the revenue generated will support those programs.
And that has to be one of the most satisfying parts of it, is that you can actually see, that in action. I know that you travel a lot. Can you talk a little bit about, seeing that the schools benefit directly and kind of interacting with us?
Yeah, so we've actually had some very recent experience seeing the benefit of this work, especially here in Arizona as a lead up to the Super Bowl. We actually provided, because it's the 57th Super Bowl, we gave 57 schools in Phoenix and beyond school nutrition grants, and in particular those supported grab-and-go breakfast equipment to get breakfast out of the cafeteria to where the students can grab and go when they get off the bus or come into the school building. And what that we find is that overcomes hurdles related to time and stigma associated with eating in the cafeteria, and it increases participation in school breakfast by up to 27%.
And I know that's been a big initiative on the part, also to encourage more fitness and kind of how that goes along with providing those meals. I know you've been an advocate for that for quite some time. Can you talk about how you kind of got involved with that? Yes,
I'm actually a registered dietitian. That's my background and training. And then when I joined GENYOUth, really over a decade ago, it was in my DNA. I'm a strong believer that nutrition and physical activity are inextricably linked to help support health and wellness, and helping children develop healthy habits that they'll carry with them for a lifetime really gets us up out of bed every day to go to work. It's what we really care about, and we know we're making a difference. And then through our partnership with the NFL and the Taste of the NFL event this weekend that's presented by PepsiCo Foundation, Frito-Lay, and Quaker, we're bringing together over 30 chefs and over 30 players and legends that'll be signing autographs, mingling with guests. People can sample the food from all the chefs. And then again, the revenue comes back to GENYOUth and helps us support. In this case, with Taste of the NFL, the revenue is all supporting our hunger initiatives. Okay. However, we do have other programs. In fact, we run the NFL flag football program in schools. It's in over 30 schools across the country.
It had been exciting. I saw that in September you had a chance to kind of present it at the White House.
Yes.
Yeah. These opportunities, I know, it's something you don't ever take for granted, I'm sure. Can you talk about what that experience was?
It was amazing. It was the first conference on hunger, food, and nutrition in over 50 years. It was an honor to be invited to speak, and in that case in particular, I talked about our work around nutrition, our physical activity, and girls. What we know through research that we've done is that girls drop out of sport at twice the rate of boys by the time they're 13. And the reasons really tie back to their body image, self-confidence, self-esteem, encouragement at home, and wanting to be part of something that's physically active without necessarily having to compete. They wanted the social camaraderie component. So we're launching a new program called Root for Her. It's actually being piloted in 500 middle schools across the country to help engage girls and meet them where they are to get them more involved in physical activity.
I know with everything, what makes it so nice is that people go to the Taste NFL, they're willing to spend money, put money in the different auctions and such like that. And ultimately that's what needs, to get the big ideas out there. Are there big aspirations that you have for where, like, sort of the next level where GENYOUth could go?
Yeah, we're really doubling down on hunger. As I mentioned earlier, I believe 30 million students rely on school meal programs. 1 in 8 kids in this country is living in food insecurity. 1 in 5 children are living in food insecurity when we look at communities of color. So that is not going to be solved overnight. And school meals are a lifeline for those children. Many times the only healthy meal they receive on some days. And we are facing a physical activity crisis in this country. So my goal, in leading the organization is to bring other public and private sector organizations together who share that mission, as well as individuals. Individuals can donate at our website. It's www.genyouthnow.org. It's GENYOUTH now.org. But really, every bit helps. And my goal is that we can even bring more grants to more schools because the economy's tough, for all of us, particularly schools. The average PE teacher budget's $1.50 a kid per year. School nutrition programs are operating on a shoestring. They're struggling with labor, food costs, supply chain. And kids are relying on the school community to support them and develop healthy futures, academically as well as physically.
Yeah, I've watched the speech I think you're involved in with Najee Harris back in Pittsburgh in September, October, and we spoke directly about how that good meal gets you through the day, and that impacts the classroom, and the classroom impacts the prospects beyond that. And it's amazing how everything just kind of falls in line, and when that's taken away from the kid, just how detrimental that
Right.
can be.
A hungry student cannot learn. And the research does show that children who eat breakfast do better academically, particularly on reading and math. So it's great to have players like Najee and others who will be joining us at Taste of the NFL. He will be with us as well. So we're really excited that people who share this commitment, have lived, through some challenging circumstances themselves as children, are stepping up and wanting to make a difference.
So it's so great with Taste of the NFL, especially for a lot of our listeners who've been through them in the past. I know we went through the one year where, because obviously the pandemic was virtual, and then last year was a little different format in Los Angeles. This sounds like with 30 players, it's going to be probably similar to maybe what someone may have experienced at a past Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it'll be more familiar to what if people have come to Taste of the NFL in the past. Yes, our first year that we were involved with Taste was the year of COVID, so there was no live event. And we did have a lot of generous supporters, and we were able to give a lot of dollars back to school. But I think this year is going to be more the traditional Taste of the NFL. We have fantastic chefs. We have Andrew Zimmern, Carla Hall, famous, well-known chef TV personalities. We have Tim Love from Texas. He's known for his urban Western cuisine. Lashita Perry, who's also known as the Queen of Flavor, who does phenomenal pastries. And we have Mark Bucher from Washington, D.C., who's known for his steaks and burgers, in addition to 25 chefs from the Arizona area. And this is a great food scene. There's wonderful regional cuisine, and the chefs do a terrific job. So no one will leave hungry, and they will enjoy the day and know that they're going to also be benefiting an important cause.
I always have to go back to the Minneapolis one, because I know you had such a big role in that whole Super Bowl committee. Is that correct?
I was the CEO of that committee, yeah.
What was that like? That seems like
It was all of this in 30 below zero weather. It was great, though. The community support that we had in Minnesota for Super Bowl 52 was outrageous, and everybody came out, and it was the dead of winter, as you know. It was the coldest Super Bowl on record, but it was the warmest welcome in the world, and we kept trying to showcase what it was like to live in the bold north. So we had snowmobiles, Polaris, jumping over Nicollet Mall. We had the zip line over the Mississippi, and it was very, very fun.
And people ask me all the time, they're like, hey, what's your favorite Super Bowl? Because I have a dozen of these or so or more. I always keep going back to Minneapolis. Now, part of it is because
nothing was as unique as
Yeah.
Radio Row throughout the
In
mall.
Mall of America.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I got to meet the Eagles. They're by the JCPenney or
Yeah.
something like this. And I just love the idea that you had this unique setup, everything in one place.
Yeah.
Really engaging fans. I think that a lot of the idea of like, fans visiting the outside perimeter,
Yeah.
I think a lot of that came from there.
Yeah.
And so there must have been a lot of thought.
Well, we had Mall of America where the two teams stayed, and of
Yeah.
course players like to shop in their downtime. And you guys were right; the media center was right out there in the common area, so you were among the
I
action.
just wondered about conceptualizing that idea.
Yeah.
What was it? I wonder at what point did Mall of America come into play? Because it was fascinating to see it executed so well. Was that something like right from the start?
Actually, I think it was here in 2015 when you guys were in a ball field.
Oh yeah.
Remember, they put the media, and I went out to visit you, and you were cold. You all were cold. And I said, I promise when you come to Minnesota, you will be close to a Starbucks and you'll be warm.
I remember that was the one.
So that's why.
Let's talk about Tasting the NFL.
Yes.
That's such good work. I think probably one of the most, I'm guessing, rewarding parts of it for you is seeing the work go into action. I see a lot of social media updates. I know there was the Mission 57 in Arizona.
Yes.
So how about that feeling of going through those?
Well, you know, Tasting the NFL was started at Super Bowl 26 in Minnesota. And Arizona has been the warmest welcome I think we've had in my tenure with Taste. The chefs here are amazing. First of all, they're top in class, but they wanted to encourage the newer chefs, the up-and-coming chefs. We have CCAP involved, which is a culinary school for kids that want to go into cooking and so on. So it's just been such a warm outpouring. And because of that, the food you're going to taste on Saturday is amazing. They all are creating these phenomenal recipes. We have, of course, fabulous drinks, and we have, and none of this would be possible without PepsiCo Foundation and Frito-Lay and Quaker, and then of course Hormel and Hellman's and American Family Insurance and Remy Martin. They care so much about ending student hunger, and they come out and they pull out all the stops, and they're doing some really cool things this year. And then the players, oh my gosh, the players are, we have 30 that will sign autographs and sit by each booth, like always. But I bet you'll see 30 more that just come for the food. So it's pretty cool.
I've been seeing it. I know that with GENYOUth, I know they're part of the White House in the fall.
Yes.
That was, some players were involved at that point. So definitely the exposure part of it, it has to feel like, even from year to year, more awareness now.
And yes, absolutely. But it's amazing how many NFL players are committed to this issue. That's why they're coming, and they care about the issue. It is an event for foodies who like football, but it's a very important issue, and together I think we can make a huge difference, and they know it. So it is the largest philanthropic event that is sanctioned by the NFL. We're one of very few events, one of two, I think, that are sanctioned. So it's a very important event. For the NFL, it's an important event for ending student hunger.
And I know that the format this year is going to look, for someone who may have gone to these in the past, it will look a little bit more like with the previous years.
Well,
last year was a little different.
Well, last year it was at the Peterson Automotive, which was lovely.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was 3 levels, and it was just, this year it's in a gorgeous event center, the Chateau Luxe, a beautiful partner of ours. And so it's an easier and because people missed a lot of the food in the 3 levels, we have a map and directory. So you don't miss anything. So you will have a map. You'll be able to check the box on everything. And we just have been able to. And then we've really challenged, like in the early days of Taste, we've challenged the chefs and the liquor companies to really come out with some unique bites, because people are coming there to taste things that they've never eaten before, or something they've eaten but is uniquely different. For example, Mark Booker, the national champion many times over of making hamburgers, last year I don't think you got to taste his hamburger. This year, you're going to taste his award-winning hamburger, and he's going to give you the secret to making it. And then he and Alan are doing a burger throw, Andrew are doing a burger throwdown. Did he tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, to see who has the best burger. No, he's gutsy because he's going up against like a 5-time national champion. So it'll be an interesting taste bite. So.
And what I love about it too is that, it doesn't matter anyone's dietary restrictions or there's more than enough food to cover anybody and everybody.
There's pork, chicken, beef, lots of desserts, which I happen to like. Lashita Perry, one of our celebrity chefs, has the NFL gave her permission to make a chocolate mold and fill it with something fabulous. So, and then we have again an award-winning baker who got permission to do a logo on top of his sourdoughs, which are to die for. So we put him next to Challenge Butter, and they're doing a fabulous butter board, and they became fast friends, butter and bread. So they're good. So regardless of what, and then the drinks, of course. We have Remy Martin as a partner, and Charles Woodson has a new Manhattan in a can that's actually quite delicious. It's called the Heis Manhattan because he won the Heisman. And so they'll be there pouring that, and just and Tito's and just great company. So
we were just talking to him 2 days ago about it. It's amazing how he doesn't just put his name. He's out and about everywhere. And so that's great.
And he is trying to stop by. Which he did last year, if you recall. He was there a long time last year. And he'll swing by. Now he's committed to Fox a little more, but he'll come by.
So hopefully it's amazing. So I guess finally, I know we're coming up with the break here, but just for you personally, what do you think is like the most rewarding part of it all? Because I know the event is great because it raises the funds necessary, but to actually see that in action, is that
what I continually am so impressed with the organizations like PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, Hormel, Quaker, who really, they're not just on paper. They're there on the front lines with us trying to solve this issue and end student hunger. And that's what makes me real emotional about this.
That's great. I just love it. And every time I see the different news updates and out and about the schools, it's like you just know something great's coming from it.
Yeah.
And then people have a great time as well.
Yes.
So
And this year, you'll just see it because you were there last year. But there's more ways to donate on site.
Oh, good.
Because people said, they once they learn about the issue, they want to help, and so we have ways for.
And we're on all over the country. They could donate online as well.
Just go to tasteofthenfl.com, and there's a donate button if you can't make it to Arizona. But definitely, we can use all the help.
And final segment here. Had a chance to catch up with Anthony Ramos, star of the new Transformers movie coming out in June, Rise of the Beast. This is from Radio Row last week in Phoenix.